What is poppin', guys? You got your coach of the Chim Chargers here for week 2 of the GBA. This time we're taking on John, also known as Pokemon, coach of the New Orleans Pelippers, and we actually played this game on Showdown. The reason is because he had an injury on one of his fingers, could not attend our scheduled time, so we rescheduled and we played it on Showdown to make it a bit quicker than a Wi-Fi battle. Still a very solid match for sure, and you guys get to see the Pokemon on either side all throughout this battle. Check my name out. I call myself D plus Emvee. But as you can see here, he brings a team of Skarmory, Milotic, Tapu Bulu, Goodra, Jolteon, and Scolipede. I bring my team from yesterday's building video, so if you guys have not seen that, maybe you might want to check it out if you have any questions about my team or you want any answers. I really go over the team in depth in that video, so maybe check that out before this video or check it out afterwards. Either or, you know. But in any case here, so looking at this team, pretty much what I expected him to bring. Like, I did definitely expect him to bring the Milotic, the Bulu, the Jolteon. Those are nice answers for my Rain, as well as even the Goodra. I'm thinking this is AV Goodra with 4 attacks, so should be pretty interesting to face. That Skarmory I kind of expected to come as well, because he would try to run maybe some sort of countermeasure versus my Magnezone, like Shed Shell versus Magnet Pull. Though I am, of course, analytics, so he should be surprised by that. Last Pokemon here, I didn't really, well, I guess I kind of expected either this Pokemon to come or maybe Porygon Z or Sneasel or Uxie or something. So having a Scolipede there is another threat to my team as well. It could do a lot of work, so we'll see how that goes. But I figured that my best lead in this match was probably going to be the Lando. The reason is because, of course, Lando gets off a fast U-turn. I am Scarf Lando. It's pretty solid versus his team. If he leads off with Bulu, I mean, I have access to the Sludge Wave, which will be able to knock it out in one hit. If he leads off with Skarmory, I get a U-turn into like Magnezone or something else. So I have a really great opportunity for Volt Turn spamming, because the only Pokemon he has to take a Volt Switch is Jolteon. That Pokemon, Jolteon, cannot do any damage to Magnezone unless it has HP Ground. So with that in mind, you know, we're at a very good advantage here by leading off Lando. So let's just go ahead, you know, check out the battle. I won't keep you guys waiting, so let's just go ahead and see what happens here. So I do lead off here with my Chimp Cat, my Lando here, as he leads off with his Skarmory. So turn 1 right off the bat, I'm going to go for the U-turn. Not a favorable matchup for me to stay in, and I can just go right into my Magnezone here as he decides to go for Rocks. Now immediately he switches out without even, you know, stalling the timer out a bit. I know for a fact that he probably has Shed Shell. He goes into his Goodra, so I'm just going to go ahead here, Volt Switch out into my Muck. And I just want to go for the knockoff here because I want to get rid of any item his Goodra may have. Knocking off the Assault Vest is pretty useful. And as you can see, we go for the knockoff. He switches into Skarmory, which is a very safe switch on his part. We knock off Shed Shell, and I can switch out here into my Empoleon. Getting rid of Rocks are super useful, especially for D-Knight, which takes 25% from Rocks. He Whirlwinds me out into my Muck. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go right back into Empoleon. The reason that he went for Whirlwind was to make sure that he doesn't get trapped by my Magnet Pull Magnezone, if I did have Magnet Pull, that is. But I go back into Empoleon here as he goes for Roost. I can get off a Defog as he switches out into Jolteon. So now I am going to switch out here because I don't want Empoleon taking any hit from Jolteon. So I go into my Magnezone here. Nice AV Magnezone eating up the hit. I call it magnificent. And he goes into his Goodra. Now I'm going to switch out here into my Muck because Muck can take any hit. I am, of course, Figgy Berry, so once I get below 50%, I can heal up a bunch. As you can see, I'm so bulky. I eat up an Ice Beam and an Earthquake. Check that out. Ooh, get back to full health, or almost full health. Not even full health. But I go for the knockoff here, getting rid of its item, and then predicting him to want to preserve his Goodra. Go for the Pursuit here, and we're able to catch that off guard. So playing Muck immaculately, that's what I call slime right there. He goes to Skarmory, doubles out to Milotic. I'm not sure what he was expecting. But I go to Empoleon here, which can beat Milotic 1v1. As you can see, he's going to go for Scald here. This impressive Empoleon, I'm going to be setting up that Rocks. Taking Scald for days, I can go ahead, hit this Milotic up with a Toxic. Even though he burns me, I mean, that's perfectly fine. Getting off that Poison and the Rocks, super worth it right now. So, yeah, he's just going to keep going for Scald here. Not really sure what he's trying to do. As I can keep going for my own Scald, he will get whittled down even faster because of the fact that Poison is going to be racking up damage. So he's probably going to realize this, and he's going to switch out here into his Jolteon. Now, Jolteon here is going to be able to take a Scald relatively well, so I kind of think that he's AV, because I don't think Jolteon will take that little damage from a Scald from Empoleon. So I'm going to go into my Magnezone here as he actually goes for the Volt Switch. I'm thinking now that he's probably like AV Jolteon or something. So he goes into his Tapu Bulu. I don't want to take a superpower, so I don't really want to stay in with my Magnezone. Magnezone is so useful versus his team, so I am going to switch out here into my Muck. That super power does 34, and look at this. I'm able to heal up a little bit because of his grassy terrain. Not bad at all. Not bad. He's going to go here into Skarmory, as what I do is actually double out here into Empoleon, expecting a Skarmory to come in on my Muck. And in this way, what I can do is pressure him a bit, because I know for a fact he's going to go for rocks. I can go for that Scald here, get him nice and weakened, give him a burn just like he gave me. And at this point in time, like, Skarmory cannot, I guess, do what Empoleon does 1v1. It can't 1v1 it in terms of getting up rocks and, you know, just getting rid of hazards and stuff. Trying to stay in versus my Scald, because I will sooner or later I will get into Torrent range and be able to do a ton of damage to the Skarmory. As you can see, he does get up rocks here. I think what he maybe should have done was start spamming rocks, but he would lose Skarmory. I don't think he wants to lose Skarmory, so he does go to Jolteon here, as I am able to get off this nice defog. So keeping rocks off of my side, I know this now, you know, I gotta keep away rocks, and Empoleon is doing that perfectly. I'm going to go here into my Magnezone as he goes for HP Ice, thinking that I'm going to go into Lando because he was spamming Volt Switch all the other times. And he just goes for a Volt Switch here, showing that he's not locked in. As I just go for a Flash Cannon because he really doesn't have any sort of switch in into a Flash Cannon. So he does sack off Goodra. Then he goes into his Scolipede here. And what I can do is go into my Lando T on the Scolipede as he goes for a Protect. So Protect set, very less threatening than a Swords Dance set. Very happy about that. Seeing him just go for Protect here. And I just go for the knockoff because I feel like just knocking off something is going to be pretty useful. It hits a lot of things on his team. I can get rid of any item. I go for the knockoff here on the Skarmory. I kind of forgot that Skarmory's item was already knocked off. Doesn't matter too much, as what I can do is just switch out here into my Empoleon because another knockoff will not knock it out. Don't want him to get up a roost here, but he goes for the Stealth Rocks, interesting enough, and he switches out actually after that. So I'm just going to go ahead here, get the freest defog of my life, and just going to go ahead here versus this Milotic. I can go ahead and set up my own rocks, I believe is what I do. As he goes for Scald here, I'm able to take that, get those last ditch effort rocks up, and this is so useful for me. Like, I prevented rocks and I got up rocks in literally 2 turns, and these rocks are pretty much there to stay. That Skarmory is super weak. He actually goes into a Skarmory right now as I go for the Volt Switch, sacking it off. So those rocks are going to be there to stay. That Scolipede is going to be taking damage. That Bull is going to be taking damage. These rocks are going to be so nice. He goes back into Milotic here versus my Lando. I just go for, right for the U-turn here. No reason for me to stay in. And I can go here into my Magnezone. He goes for the Recover. My Magnezone is AV, so it eats up literally every hit from this thing. And I can just go ahead here and I go for the Volt Switch on, just going for the Volt Switch here. It actually takes damage. So he's not even Volt Absorb, and that's not even a mistake because you have to manually put another ability. Like, its default is Volt Absorb. So he meant to not put Volt Absorb on this thing, which is kind of weird to me because then I could just literally like U-turn and Volt Switch all over his team. He goes into his Milotic here. Don't want to stay in with my D-Knight, so I just hard switch in my Magnezone. As you can see, he goes for the Ice Beam, able to eat that up. And I can just go ahead here, hit him with a nice Volt Switch, and Magnificent is pulling through. Look at this Scald, just 20%. I'm able to eat that up. Just go right for the Volt Switch here. That does a ton. That is analytic boosted Volt Switch. Not even bad. Can go here into my Chimp Cat as at this point my Milotic goes down. Now check this out, alright? I planned the tech in the team builder. He brings out Bulu versus my Lando. I'm able to just hit him up with that Sludge Wave and knock him out. This is beautiful Pokemon right there. Just going for that Sludge Wave. Last Pokemon he goes into is the Scolipede. At this point he's lost. I just sacked Magnezone in case I can use Sash Alakazam, or I could use Muck Shadow Sneak potentially if he gets out of hand. And then I go ahead here, switch into my D-Knight, and now you already know what's about to happen. I'm gonna go here. He goes for the Rock Slide trying to flinch me. It doesn't work. I activate my Z move. Hit him with the Supersonic Sky Strike, knock him out, and that is going to be GG is Emvee. We are copying the W. We are back in this after week 1, and now nice 4-0 victory here. We played this pretty immaculately. I think that that Muck knockoff in Pursuit on Goodra was so useful, especially since Goodra was the only Pokemon that he really had to take hits from Magnezone. That got weakened really early. We were able to knock that out. I don't know. I heard the analyst saying fast electric types knocked me out or something. Magnezone gonna get momentumed on and everything. I didn't see that really happen. And, you know, Magnezone put in so much work for the team. Really happy about that. So hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think, of course, about this match here. You know, we're going to see if we can keep winning each week. I'm getting used to this team a lot more. And, you know, I don't think this is a D+ draft. I really think that we can pull through for these other matches. I'm hoping that we can, though. Hoping that we can. This team put in a lot of work here. John played really well as well. Even though we were able to, you know, really pull out a solid victory. Like he played well. He played well. We just, you know, we were just able to outplay his maneuvers and stuff like that. So that's awesome. So hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, Chim Chargers coming through with the W, and hopefully we can keep this up. So next week we take on I think Magnitude. Coach of the Sawsbucks. He's got a very interesting team as well. I think the one Pokemon that I'm worried about, or maybe a couple Pokemon that I want to sort of have stuff for, are like the Xurkitree is another electric type Pokemon. I think Xurkitree is a very threatening mon, so we'll see how that goes. But anyways, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.